they're still owned by France, so there's definitely the French influence, just like how we were, we have in our country. We got a lot of French-speaking people. But anyway, she was the one that was invited. They were looking for a female French lyricist, and they found her on MySpace. So, big up to MySpace for even creating that avenue for artists. But BET found her on MySpace, invited her to come down to the rooftop where DJ Premier was doing the cypher that was going to be on, the Hip Hop Awards, BET. I was in Canada at the time, and, Flo, we bump heads. We constantly speak on the phone. She's not on the road with me, but she's soon to be. And so she's politicking with me, letting me know she's going to be in New York, such and such date, and this is what's transpiring. I thought it was definitely a big break for her, and she's my sister in this. And so I said, I'm going to come down from Canada. We drove down from Canada a couple of days earlier. We were supposed to still be in Canada, but we drove down, met Flo. She was by herself, so we kind of, was that support system since we from Miami together. So, met her in New York, boom. And while it was in the cypher, one of the directors knew that I was an artist as well. And he was like, you know what? Even though you not the one, like you not spitting per se, but I know that, that you looking for exposure, you looking for shine. Let me throw you in the circle of things so at least get a visual, so you can get at least that much, that exposure, even though your homegirl Flo is the one that, we invited and that's here. So I thought that was, real official. And for people that really don't know, they may say like BET shitted on me or like they don't respect Hip Hop Creole, but that's what it was. So we looking in the future now for like BET to do other projects now that I bump heads with the director, now that I, me and Premier kind of connected, and, we probably do a joint, a collabo in the future. So those are the things that I felt was, the networking aspect of being there and connecting with, who I needed to connect with. But it wasn't my time to shine at that time. I was just there, and I felt like I still shine. I made sure I still put the flag on my head and represented, nationally, internationally for, for all my Haitian peoples that probably just saw me in the corner bopping my head. I was just making sure that I was visible, and until next time they see me, they're going to catch that verse.
All right, that's what's up. So we definitely look forward to you spitting that verse. So with that,
actually, let me say that while the cameras were still rolling, I jumped out in the middle and had to let, even though they didn't, this wasn't something that, because they only needed 4 MCs. And like I said, Flo was the one that was invited, so they had their cipher. I stepped out and still spit. And, this is something that's supposed to be compiled and actually being still put on the net. So Kafouinc, I guarantee you, I'll send you the link so that y'all can see like the behind the scenes of what it would have been like if Mecca would have just clashed you all over the TV. You know what I mean?
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, that's great. So you got the movie. You're on tour right now. Your album is coming out. So, so the Creole Hip-Hop Movement has made some great strides. So how long do you think it will be before it blows in your estimate?
Wow, I mean, it's real funny to say it. I think that's why everybody's having problems with everybody's movement. Like, I really don't know. Right now I'm just doing what it is that I can do. I'm even doing things that I feel that I can't do, but I feel is necessary to do. I go on the road, like I told you, with my own money. And I don't sit home trying to figure out how I'm going to pay the bills home and how that's popping off. We spend our own money. We go out on the road and make sure that these different places that weren't open to the Hip-Hop Creole movement, now that they've seen a Mecca, a.k.a. Grimo show, at least it's a first step in, like, what Hip-Hop Creole, maybe sounds like, or, it's an introduction. Not everybody's going to sound open that we are all different, but, we could just, I don't know, even though we'll see where we really want the music to see, even in our lifetime. We've got to understand right now, we just paving the way. You know what I mean? We're trying to be prosperous and we're trying to eat. Everybody's trying to get paper. But look how long it took hip hop to really materialize and be the way that it is and become this money monster and global monster all over the world. So we got to understand that now that we kind of making this music resurface and introducing it to people, we can't force feed it down people's mouths. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be done in a digestible form. And, we've got to come correct with how we coming with it. You know, people are not going to digest it if we already right out the blocks already starting talking about violence. You know
right.
We definitely got to form a bond within ourselves, and that's what is going to really get the music to where it needs to be. And it needs to come in different forms. The hip-hop Creole movement is not just rapping over hip-hop beats. You know what I'm saying? We definitely need to, look at compa music as a door, even though I feel that some of the compa artists don't respect us. Because I remember the trials and tribulations that I was going with compa artists playing and, tuning their instruments even while I'm rapping. This was like the days of, the beginning days of trying to get a show even settling and compromising to even let something like that happen. Now,
but I think with,
no longer.
But I think with anything, I guess, it's going to take time for people to kind of get used to it, just like with hip hop. There was like major controversy, wanting to ban hip hop, with Tupac and all that other stuff. So I think, but I think, to some extent, we've made some great strides. But one of the things that I wanted to address with you is that, how has this, is that there's word on the streets that there is division amongst you and some of the Creole hip-hop rappers. How would you address that question?
Yeah, I would say that's either that's fabricated, if it's division amongst myself and other Creole artists. If they're not the ones that's fabricating it, then somebody's fabricating that, because from day one, all I've ever tried to show is like unity. You know what I'm saying? I welcome people to like wherever I'm at. When I come through, I'm the first one to like holler, and you know what I'm saying? And likewise, and I think, you know what I'm saying, like the artists that I've been dealing with have been dealing with me the same. I think that this is an attempt, another systematic attempt to try to like break us apart, but from the outside. This is an outside force probably trying to break us apart, trying to make us think that, we against each other and that we're divided, because that's how they've always look at our country right now. How they got us is they divide us and then they conquer us. They break us up into classes. They break us up into, however, what I'm saying, our mindset, our mentality. And then after that, we can't get along. We can't even speak to each other. And so at such of a young stage that we are with the hip-hop Creole movement, I would hate to believe that the word on the streets is that, that I'm divided amongst my peers, amongst my comrades, that, that I work so hard and diligently to try to get this music out and make sure that, like, American radio stations is playing hip-hop Creole now, and that American video stations is playing hip-hop Creole videos now. American magazines are writing reports up and articles about, like, the hip-hop Creole movement. You know what I'm saying? So, to try to break us up, to try to bring me down, is like trying to shoot down the whole movement. And so I think a lot of these things are fabricated. And if, somebody's really got a situation, they want to find out if it came from me, it's not a problem. I'm not untouchable. I can always be reached, and so, and my email's on blast, my MySpace, I check it every once in a while. And, I could easily be reached, especially by my comrades that know where I'm at, that got my number, personal numbers, because of the personal relationships that we have. I never shitted on anybody, you know what I mean? Never heard me talk bad about nobody. People's names are not in my mouth in that fashion, because I already know how the devil goes about his systematic ways to try to divide and conquer us. And so, that's what I got to say about it. So anybody that thinks that we divided, like, unless you really, really got a problem with Mecca, a.k.a. Grimo, you know what I mean? Like, I feel that it's outside forces really trying to divide and conquer us. And so let's network back together. Let's get it on and popping. And, just like our flag, I know it sounds like a cliche and people don't go about it, and the country's like upside down, and the flag says L'Union over there also.